Right, Monday morning, the 13th of June, 2022. My wife made me a carrot cake with sweet potato. So I asked her, isn't that a potato cake or sweet potato cake with carrots? I don't know. Anyways, so we're doing the gluten-free thing. We've been doing it for some time now, for a couple of years already. And we're moving away from sugars as well, drastically, in the form of potatoes and rices and that type of thing. Um, and then she made the icing or the topping for it from yogurt. And I've realized this Naza of mine and dairy aren't the bestest of friends. Now these guys, the power went down last night, and this morning I took a couple of 2 liter soda water bottles and filled them with hot tap water, which actually worked quite nicely for them. Winter starts in just over a week, so it's really cold this year. And I hope that one is sleeping. Makes my heart want to die. Ah, it's sleeping. Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay, they're also alive. I think I can take these bottles out now and just leave the red light in and on. I'm just checking these guys huddling up to these water bottles. And I thought to myself, you know what? It's cold. Leave it there. These poor guys. They just keep you hot. They just like the heat. I'm trying to get this one here. Yeah. You got a butt. Woo. Anyways, we'll leave the bottles in for a little while longer. I felt that they were still warm, so we'll leave them there. And yesterday we were harvesting the 6-week-olds, and I think average 1.8 kgs. And I just, every time I have to take the life of a chicken. I know it's beginning days for me, but it was hard. It was really difficult. I was saying a prayer for every chicken's throat that I cut, and I held it. I have got a chicken kill cone, which I homemade, but I still hold them, so that they, I don't know, don't get injured further in the last moments. So, and also they jump out, out of the kill cone when they're big. But the point is just every time I wait for them for their last bit of life to leave them. And I thank God for the life that has been given so that we can sustain ours. So today I'm going to take it nice and peaceful. I've emptied out most of our chicken tractors. There's only one left with chickens in, and then I will be preparing them for the little chicks that we were seeing just now. Oh man, this is so beautiful. Let me show you this. Hold on. These are the little limes coming through for the next harvest. Beautiful. So I'll be pruning lime trees today. I really enjoy plants. I really do. I never thought I would. I mean, I was the type of guy, I was in corporate, cleanly shaven, short hair, no ponytail. Uh, neat. And engineering solutions and sawmilling and accounting and that type of stuff. And And God pointed me in the direction of making healthy food. So here I am, long beard, long hair. I didn't want a garden. I didn't want, when I was younger, I didn't want a garden. I wouldn't get excited about lime blossoms like this and like those ones. I would just, I would look for a house if I had to move to a new place with the smallest garden, with no garden, just the least amount of grass. So I would find a place with the least amount of grass, and I'll find somebody that would, you know, cut it for as cheap as possible. I don't care if it's weeds or if it's grass. There's some green stuff over there. So that's where I come from. That's where God came and fetched me. And it's been a very interesting walk with God regarding and learning all of this. And I actually wanted to show you all the empty chicken tractors. I just left the bottom one and I didn't put it on the video, but I'll show you this one. Hold on a second. All right, this is chicken tractor number 2 and it's empty. This morning I came up and I just had to move one tractor and I was like, oh. It's cold in the mornings. My heart is sad that they're empty, I must say. I must admit to the fact that my heart is sad. The boys and I, when it's a little bit warmer, we'll come and pick up the limes and make compost with them. I know, it's citrus and people say we should make compost with citrus. I like being different and doing things differently. Yeah. So, between all these lime trees, this here tree is a lemon tree. I got injured, so one of the branches broke off, so I had to drastically cut it back. But Gerard, the owner of the property, asked me I shouldn't prune anything further on this tree, so I'll leave it as is. These trees have been pruned, and the row in the back hasn't been pruned either, so we'll still have to get to those ones. And I'm over here now. This is the next tree that needs to be pruned. This tree needs to be pruned, and that one has been pruned. I hope you can see the difference. Before and after. Yeah, I'm just trying to get the branches that are on the floor, on the ground, away from the ground, and get them cleaned on the inside, so when we harvest, it's easier to harvest. All of this that you see there at the back over there is the tennis courts, and then all of this I want to make into a vegetable garden. All of this, a market garden, vegetable garden. That's why I'm running the chickens on it now, to try and this is my neighbor's house, to try and reduce the insects, or bring them in under control. Yeah. And also fertilize the soil, get the soil alive again. A lot of organic practices has been happening, but there's a couple of stuff that's been happening as well that's not quite organic. So we're going to try and prevent that from being a necessity to do, and just to maintain this piece of soil. How far and how big this is going to get, literally only God knows. This project. God did say to me December 2020, yeah. He did say to me, bigger land, more accessible. Now, this is it. This is the bigger land, more accessible. How much of this land? I don't know. But the owner, Gerard, is an old man, and he asked me if I'm interested in purchasing the property, which of course I am. Of course I'm interested in purchasing property. The question is just, from the kingdom economy, When will I receive the money to purchase this land? Here's the only chicken tractor with chickens in it. And when they see me, they're hungry. Yeah, these guys are hungry. Just like their little cousins. And this is just 6 weeks difference, between the ones we looked at just now and these guys. It's not second feeding time yet. You guys are gonna have to hang in there. Because they're the only ones left, I'm like feeding them extra because I'm feeling sorry for them. So here's where I put the limes in. Here's my Charles Dowding compost bins. It's just 4 pallets. You make up the 4 walls, and then the next one is just 3 pallets because you're sharing 1 wall, and then the next one will just be 3 pallets. And I want to continue with that as well. And I fill them up with limes, and then I just top them up with some brown materials, some leaves and whatnot. There is some steam coming off of this. I don't know if you can see it on the I can't see the screen. The sun's shining on it, but I don't know if you're going to make it out on YouTube. And here's the second batch, and that's what the box is for. I want to just close up the holes there. And cardboard box obviously breaks down completely, and it's a very good compost material. So if you're in a small little townhouse or don't have a lot of space to move in and so forth, brown box makes a good brown material. So if you just add green materials and maybe a bit of humus that you can find somewhere, you can make your own compost in that small little space of yours. But then again, I find big volumes makes better compost. I've tried myself years ago. You know, when you like try and you've got a full-time job and kids and schools and activities and sports and so forth, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm still going to do my vegetable garden, and you dig a hole to make a compost pile. The biggest mistake you make is to dig it. That's the first thing. And then because that's a lot of work, and I've done it in the past, and it's much easier just to strap 4 pallets together with 4 pieces of or 8 pieces of wire, and let that stand up and just fill it up with whatever you need to fill it up. But anyways, the point is just digging holes, starting compost piles, and they're just way too small. It's just not. You need the chemical reaction or the biological reactions to take place, and you need volume of material. So if you are going to do a compost for yourself, and you're in a small space, it needs to be at least 600 millimeters by 600 by 600 wide, 600 long, 600 high, and yeah, brown materials, these leaves, green materials, the grass clippings, your salad that you cut up, your carrots you didn't use, all your offcuts, and all raw materials. I do put raw meat in as well. I put chicken feathers in there. I put in chicken blood, and then I let it stand for a long time. But it's open. It's an open area, so and it doesn't stink. It's close to my house. This is the bottom section of the lime orchard, and that's the bottom chicken tractor. And this is all space. That's my neighbor's house that we looked at just now over there. This is all area that I can use to propagate vegetables. Obviously now in the winter time with all the shade and so forth, it's not a good time to be trying to plant anything here, and I still want to run a lot of chickens here before I plant anything. And there's a lot of clearing that needs to be done and cleaning up. But I'll get to it all eventually. I lost my train of thought. Making compost in small areas. Maybe I should do a video on that. Maybe I should do it and practice it myself, because I've never done it until God has never done it properly. Until God started speaking to me, and then I started making big compost bins, not small ones. Um, this is Flayland here at the bottom of the other side of this fence, and we're not allowed to work on it. I was just thinking, digging swales and catching water and making ponds and growing on the ponds edges with, you know, permaculture type of setups and having perennials in there and so forth. But anyways, we'll probably still cross that bridge when we get there. But it's a beautiful piece of land, and I'm very happy that I can be part of this. And this is the bottom road from the bottom of my house, and I can just imagine what it's going to look like eventually. But it probably won't. I'll probably have a couple of new ideas on the way there. I've totally lost my train of thought now, because I had to chat to the owner, Gerard. He came around just now, so we had a bit of a chat about the politics and the legal system in South Africa. He's a strong legal individual, and participated in South Africa's history. He's 84 years old, and he participated quite vigorously in South Africa's history, and he's a very interesting person to speak to. And coming to that point about South Africa and its history, yeah, a lot of things went wrong in South Africa, but you must remember, just like the flu that we've had over the last 2 years, the hype around it was bigger than the flu, and that isn't an isolated case. So I grew up needing to take international news with a pinch of salt since the 80s, 1980s. And it's not gotten better over the last 40 years. What is it now? Yeah, 40 years. For the guys and girls out there on YouTube that's watching this that's not from South Africa, we had our changeover of government in the early 90s. And I was at school then. Look how old I am now. My kids are in the working force already. And still, my kids are not allowed certain things in this country. And it's getting worse. This is not a road that I often go down, but it is a reality in our country. And if we didn't believe so strongly in God, and we didn't hold on to God as we do, and if God didn't open up the way forward for us as He does, we don't want to be a minority group. We don't. We want to be part of the country we live in. We were born in here. I'm like the 16th generation from my family in this country. I can trace my heritage back to the Netherlands, where my great grandparents came from, and almost 400 years ago. So now, just because I have blue eyes and a white skin, my kids we're a minority, and we are not allowed to provide for our families like other majority groups are allowed to. I'm probably going to edit this out, but it's also good for my soul to speak about it. I can't pretend that it doesn't exist. It does exist. But God's with us. And He's taken this minority group who doesn't want to really be isolated and called a group. We want to be part of a beautiful story of a beautiful people, which we are. But often we are labeled unjustly. But if you have been following my channel, you'll know that I do believe that things are going to change in this world of ours pretty soon. And that there's a 1,000 years coming where Jesus will be sitting on the throne. Yeah. And are we ready for it? I don't know. All I know is I can do what God tells me to do today. That is make an awesome video and prune some lime trees. So, this is Justus Meyer, No Dig Africa, with a long-term plan of becoming no dig farmer again, not just a chicken farmer, and waiting for my next miracle to happen, where the land that I stand on actually becomes my family's land. I hope so. I truly hope so. And if not, God's got an awesome plan. Whatever it is, it's beautiful. Respect from Africa. See you in the next one.